A peaceful good evening to our top speaker, Mr. A.N. Rao Garu, and good morning to Shravan sir. Hearty hello to all my fellow friends, and I extend a warm welcome to one and all for today's Top Talk. I am Sindhuja, pursuing second year food technology. It's my pleasure to be a moderator for this session. Now let us start this session through an invocation and a gratitude story. I would like Madhu to tell invocation. Madhu, over to you.
Thank you, Akka. Powerful VR, compassionate VR, genius VR, adventurous VR, disruptive VR, distinctive VR, beautiful VR, revolutionaries VR, empathetic VR, courageous VR, grateful VR, attentive VR, learners VR, incitement VR, rebellious VR, heartful VR, inspiring VR, leaders VR, jealous VR, champions VR. Yes, powerful VR.
Thank you, Madhu, for saying it so powerfully. Now I would like Supreja to say a gratitude story. Supreja, over to you.
Thank you, Akka. Hello, everyone. I am Supraja from Top Gratitude Team. Now, let us listen to a gratitude story of our own Lidvija Akka. One of my friends did his articleship in a company as a part of his chartered accountancy. Last week, he told me that he is going to stop his training and start preparation for his final CA exam. He also told me that they are going to have a farewell party and he wanted to thank them all. So I advised him to present gratitude cards, which are very similar to the cards we presented in our Anmol Awards. We together made cards for each of them and got hard copies. He presented them to all of them, expressing his gratitude cards. We didn't expect much from them as we don't know how this would received by them. To our surprise, my friend was very happy. He hugged my friend and told that this card is first card which gave the equal importance of happiness as his CA certification card. The way he compared our little token of gratitude with his blood sweated CA certificate is just beautiful. And it was same with all the other colleagues. They were very delighted. My friend said, Liddu, I never realized the power of gratitude this better ever before. And that was the beautiful moment for me as well. Thank you, Top Gratitude team, for nurturing the attitude with love and passion. Your wings are spreading organically. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Supreja. This is the real meaning of gratitude actually. It creates a happiness from both the sides. Now we get the real example. Now let us get into it. I am so fortunate to introduce our today's top speaker, Mr. A.N. Rao Garu. Actually, everyone knows it. Sir has a career of 30 plus years, strategic advice at Futurance Technologies, strategy consultant Cognizant Wipro, director at Global Delivery APJ CIO. Sir is the founder of LearningSherpa.net, a certified GTD trainer, president of Rotary Club, building an entity for inception to large scale and sustainable maturity through strong organization, design, strategy for growth, translation of technology into business, aligned services strategy, cross cultural and global leadership team building, sustainable intensity in operational process and discipline, building a culture of solid execution, discipline of driving, sustainable cost structures, creating a workforce that is motivated to deliver great customer experiences have been his key strengths and characteristics. Sir has specialties in organization, design, and strategy for rapid scaling, people and process transformation, outsourcing, best in class delivery, leadership development. This session is going to take away your worries because N. Rao Garu is back with another intriguing topic, that is six thinking hats for inclusive decision making and rapid problem solving. Sir, it's all over to you.
Thank you. You know, you always sound better when someone describes you. I said, oh my God, is that? Thank you. Two requests. One, can you open your video if you can? Because I love seeing faces. Looking at the logos, icons doesn't give me the same joy. So, if I can request you. Number one, and there's a lot of interaction we need in this. This is such an amazing topic. In fact, as I was preparing for it, I realized that six thinking hats as a concept did not exist in a year when I completed my MBA and started my career. It's pretty recent and fascinating. Set to go. So we will need a lot of interaction. So I know I can expect nothing less from this group. I want to start with a little question. I'm going to show you a bunch of colors one by one. When you see the color, tell me what it says to you. What is the immediate reaction that crosses in your mind? White
Peace.
and
Purity.
peace, purity. Okay, awesome. Green,
Traffic light,
traffic light. Okay,
trees,
peace,
Greenery.
greenery,
Plants.
plants. Okay, what about yellow?
traffic light,
Traffic light. Shravan, in
Full
India,
house group.
Shravan, in India, we don't care about green or red or yellow. We'll drive when we want to. Okay? So they're recommendations. They are not impositions. Okay.
fall colors for us,
Yes. Fall colors, beautiful. Red. Traffic light is not allowed.
Blood.
Like danger.
Danger.
Danger, harm.
Okay.
love red color on my
Love red color. Blue.
blue planet,
Blue planet.
Blue is love.
Blue is love. Okay. And black.
Royal look.
Royal look.
night,
Light. Good. Just stay with those thoughts. Will come.
dark
back.
hole,
Dark.
dark matter.
Dark matter. What do you say when you're trying to get into some serious thinking mode? What do you say? Look, you say, I'm.
Thinking,
Let me put my
thinking hat.
thinking hat on. Okay. So this session is all about the thinking hat, but in a slightly different manner. We talk about not one hat, but six of them for a good measure. But what the hell? Why do you need six cab? Isn't one sufficient? Is what we're going to spend the next 40 minutes or so interactively. It's an amazing journey experience that I went through. I'll actually take you through how I landed in that and what it meant for me and what it can potentially mean for 2007. Okay, by then, do your math. I was working from 85. So I think I was already in my 8th organization. I never believed in lifetime working in any organization. I was in a 10th unconnected role. It's each time I do a different role. I was just recovering from my second bad career mistake I made, and I just joined Cognizant. Very excited. And the first conversation with the CEO was this. He says, look, AN, this is a 20 million business unit that you're taking over. The previous business unit head left a year ago. It's been running not take over. Our ask is quite simple. Can you build it into a $1 billion revenue in 6 years? Because we entered that line late. That was honestly, it was pretty exciting. Your adrenaline starts pumping. First thing to do was to go get a solid team. It's all about organizations, all about good leaders, good leadership team, and then how do you excite the rest of the organization. So we actually went and hired an amazing team. These guys came from a 7 different IT services company. Shravan, I'm reminded of what you said. At that time, they brought with them close to 350 years of experience in what we were trying to do, combined experience, solid team. The first thing we did was, we went off on an offsite with a facilitator, the lady on the right side, don't remember her name. So we said, look, such amazing team. How do we get them together? Everyone was very accomplished. Everyone was a captain. So if you imagine what happens if we bring 11 captains and prepare a cricket team. So we did not want it to go bad. So we had our first offsite. We were trying to get to know each other. By then, it's about 6 or 7 months since we all started working with each other. It felt like this. You know what this is?
Yes.
Yeah. The characters in Kung Fu Panda, everyone's so different. The noodle-loving Po to the tigress to, the mantis to the snake. Everyone is so different. Very competent, but horribly different. But then the challenge of a leader is to convert them to this. You remember this scene when they come together and decide to go on an attack on the peacock, the bad guy peacock? So we said, look, how do we get to that? Then they all came together and became such a powerful fighting machine. Then I spent time talking to some really senior folks in the industry, getting some advice. So we said, look, what do leaders look like? The way Shravan, you defined what we are. We said, look, what do we want our leaders to look like? Thinking cap back on, one cap at this point of time. We said unimpeachable integrity. Okay. We defined what integrity was. Integrity is how you behave when no one is noticing you. Customer obsession. Amazon uses that expression. You're obsessed about making customers successful. Not afraid of tough enough conversation. We said leaders are tough enough to act and strong enough to listen. That's the line we used to use. A lifelong learners, okay, they should feel stupid at least once a day. A continuous innovation, because life is not static. Our promise to customers was, the continuous improvement. How do you continue to innovate? Build winning teams. Organizations are about teams that are excited, that do great, that perform like stars. Respect for others, make it safe. People should feel safe, saying A and what you just said is stupid, and not be admonished for that. Collaboration and synergy. And finally, we said one big one is leaders should know how to solve problems and make decisions. Decisions that are sometimes tough, sometimes emotional. There are times where we had to terminate people without giving service, an experience certificate because of some breach of thing. But how do you do that respectfully, with fairness? Leadership is all about constant ability to solve problems and make decisions. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the last one. Rest of them I'm not talking about in this session. Problem solving and decision making. If it's such an important thing, how do we get really good at it? How do we build a muscle that gives an innate ability to identify a problem, go around and solve? Then we got around. We said, look, how do leaders make decisions? Leaders make decisions all the time, right? You're all leaders in your own way, make decisions. We said they make decisions in 4 fundamentally different ways. One is what we call executive decision. For example, if you're a CEO of a company and if somebody breached ethics, there is a harassment case that has come up to you that you heard about it. Then you say, look, you think like a scalpel, not like a blunt spoon. You take very incisive decision. There you're not seeking an advice, you're just doing your homework. Then your consensus decisions. Many times, right, your team actually come together and say, hey, look, what do you think is the right thing to do? A third is consultative decisions. I might come back and ask you all for your inputs, but finally I'll distill and make my decision. Then you can't say, no, you heard me, but you did your own thing. I'm in a consultative mode, okay? So when I'm in a consensus mode, I'll actually incorporate all of them. In consultative mode, I'm actually learning how to take a decision. And sometimes you just take a note. Let's say we all decide to go on a picnic. Where do we want to go? We just take a note. So that being the case, now we're really going to talk about how leaders take decisions, right? What about teams? How do teams take decisions? It's not always just an individual making a decision. That can include individuals, how I take decisions, work teams, colleagues, voluntary groups, like all of us. How do we take a decision? Okay, and even families. So that really starts getting us into the thick of what we do. Then, Edward de Bono, he's the guy who started the concept, Six Thinking Hats. He studied, he says, for 2,500 years, people took decisions through argument. People like Plato, Aristotle made an argument out of virtue. Okay? Then you're really showing emotion, you're arguing, raising your voices. And then as we got more and more civilized, we started looking at a thing called the debate. The presidential debates, right? One example, you debate, I have a point of view, you have a point of view. They come to conclusions through debate. My point of view versus your point of view. And then with the industrialization, post World War II, in the new organization, meetings became a big deal. So this but meetings are not always effective. If you really look at this meeting, for example, you look at the body language, look at the lady in the yellow on the left. Our body language says, hey, Aisha, look, I'm not here. Do what you want. I'm not involved. Look at the guy in the right top, right? Folded fist. He's feeling very strongly about something. Or the lady on the right side, very, very indifferent. And somebody is doodling. So meetings are not always efficient. That's unfortunate reality of life. So this guy came and said, why is it that these things are not working? There must be something innately wrong about an argument or a debate or these meetings. If we're able to crack that, then we have a good solution for humanity. Why is it that these things don't work? Is that some people are just silent. They have a lot of ideas. They're afraid to speak. They're intimidated. Somebody raises a voice. Some of them can be very forceful, and everyone else shut up. He said, look, why get into an argument with this guy? You're not sure. You said, look, do I look like an idiot if I say this? You're an upbringing, particularly many of the Asian families. We grow up under authoritarian influence. And a father figure, what the dad says is right. You don't argue. I'm your parent, just listen to me is what many of us grow up with. When you're a leader, you respond in the same parental mode and you say, hey, look, boss has got to be right. I'm not going to argue with him. So prior experiences, you're on self-esteem over a period of time. You're not sure. You made a couple of mistakes, got beaten up for that. Your self-esteem tougher. You say, look, why you open my mouth and, get slapped. Okay. Indecision, you're not sure how to. Many companies don't allow, like bad news. The messenger is shot along with the message. And fear of consequence. You say, hey, look, if I argue with you, is it going to do some bad things to me? So what happens is, because of all these reasons, over a period of time, corporate culture of meetings has really become a synonym for a bad decision, bad quality of decision, non-inclusive decision. So we often take suboptimal decisions because our process is not capable of leading us to good decision. Okay. So what do we need? Is there a way? Is there a mantra? Is there a way that is not complicated, because solution cannot be harder than the problem, that helps us make decisions? So 1985, Edward de Bono, he came up this thing. He says, look, he studied how people behave. He studied how minds think. And he said, look, let's look at a better way of doing this. Okay. I'm actually going to pause here. Let's take a scenario. We all decide to go on a picnic. Okay, we said, look, we get on one of these cars. Hey, let's go on a picnic. And both of us, too much of a talk, too much of a work. We need a break. We're going to take a picnic. How do you guys go about it? Having agreed that you'll go on a picnic, what happens after? There's a break from silence. Please speak.
Oh, okay. Food. We need to.
Okay, food. You need to plan for your food. What else? What happened after
Transport.
this? Transport. You need transport.
Destination.
You need to decide a destination. Okay.
What we are going to do there once we get there.
What are we going to do there? Okay.
Who's going to do what?
Who's going to do what? Okay.
All the things that we are doing for our Sunday's visit.
Exactly.
Come on, so you talk.
I'm very curious, how you arrived at all those conclusions. There must have been a process that happened before you arrived at each of those decisions, right? What was that process?
Consultation, meeting.
Consultation, meeting. You also had a meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I were to slice all that up and put that into buckets,
Okay.
there were a bunch of things we are doing. We are planning. Where do we go? When? Then.
Yes, and we also thought of what can go wrong. Yeah.
Exactly. You say, boss, what if it
Yeah.
rains?
Actually,
In
that.
fact,
And also
they made a plan. What if it rains, because we're going to an open place, right? So
What if it rains? Or somebody says,
Yeah.
the 30 of us going there during pandemic, pagal ho kya? What's wrong with you guys? Right?
And we
Our
also
ideas
thought
are-
of taking first aid.
You're taking first
Yep.
aid.
First
Exactly.
aid
right?
also. Yeah.
Exactly. Then he said, look, guys, somebody comes at the benefits, right? Hey, enough of just staying stuck at home. Even if I'm going to hit by the stupid virus, I'm going to go there. I need happiness. We're going to come back, recharge. We look at benefits. We look at what can go wrong. You also carry information gathering. You are actually going to Shamirpet Lake, then we're going to Gundapochamma tank, then we're going to Meena's farm. So obviously a lot of information would have collected. If one were in the north and the other in the south and the other in the west, it wouldn't have made sense, right? We have been in the cars all day. So obviously some fact gathering was done. So there is a lot of stuff that got done, which can broadly get into what is the plan? Are there ideas? Do we know, have enough information? How do we feel about it? Are we doing anything stupid? Kind of things out there. So Deborah said, hey, this is how our mind thinks. It's not that we are taking decisions all the time. It's not that we are not taking decisions all the time. If only this is where the thought gets born. He says, look, those, you remember the 6 kinds of thoughts, they're actually happening parallelly. You know, Shravan may be thinking about planning, Meena may be thinking about, I'll be thinking about food, not Meena. Meena will be thinking about activities, okay? Then Sindhuja is talking about transport. He said, the mind is thinking on parallel paths. At any point of time, if all can converge into thinking about one part before getting onto next part, energy gets utilized much better. You suppose you come back and Shravan says, guys, 10 minutes we're going to decide if we are going or where we are going. We decide a location. Then say, you know, the whosoever is the most energy guy in this, you know, tell us what we're going to do. After that, he says, look, hey, what do you think it's going to do? I mean, you think you're going to benefit or we're just wasting a day? He said, look, hey, are we missing something? Is there anything that can go wrong? So you go through that process, but we're taking one of those 6 steps at a time, okay? He said, we can move linearly so much faster. Believe me, in our weekly leadership team meetings, Shravan, we used to take complicated themes. 20 minutes was all it used to take to arrive at a decision. Normally, same thing can go on for 3 weeks or 4 weeks because I'm saying I'm thinking benefits. Mickey Mouse is thinking what can go wrong. Donald Duck is thinking, hey, we don't even know what we're talking about. Okay, somebody comes and says, no, when do we need to take decision, right? 20 minutes we could take every week. We could take one important decision that took just 20 minutes. Okay, so this guy came and said, is there a way we can direct this thought process? You know, the way lasers work, right? When light is aligned, you have a laser. It's so much more powerful. He said, at each point of time, can all these brains to make work in a certain way, in a orchestrated manner? And then he came up with the whole thought of a parallel thinking. Okay, parallel thinking is all of us are thinking parallelly, but in the same direction. After that, we'll again think parallelly. We'll work in a different direction. First direction could be planning, second could be fun, third could be problems, etc. And then he came up with parallel thinking. He said, look, there are 6 kinds of things that normally we need to look at. And obviously, when you're thinking you have a hat on, he said the physical symbolism make it much more easy to relate. So he said, look, let's put on a hat at a time to think about that area. That's how the whole 6 thinking hats as a concept was born. And underlying science, neuroscience is a parallel thinking. Okay, with me so far? So he said, if only this process of thinking together, not just thinking together, thinking for ourselves. Remember, I keep saying our mind is one of the dumbest things. It's like a monkey. I'm making this presentation. Suddenly I say, look, hey, I haven't had coffee this evening. What is this presentation do with my coffee? Then I say, look, oh God, yesterday and somebody called me, I forgot to reply them. So mind keeps hopping all over the place. So it's not just teams. Even when you're thinking as an individual, your distraction is a characteristic of our mind. So he said some way to manage the distraction, make our thought process more efficient. And the whole 6 thinking hats as a thought was born. De Bono launched the concept with his book in 1985. Read his book. The guy is amazing. And watch his presentations also. De Bono, in fact, I actually attended a couple of his live sessions. He still uses presentation slides. I don't know now. He was not using PPT, but it's fun to watch. Right. Now, you remember I said there are 6 different things that we're doing? He's saying, look, how do we formally learn how each of these processes work? Because we'll anyway plan, we'll anyway ideate, we'll plan for contingency, we'll get all the information. But is there a way to do it in a much more structured manner? So the very first hat is the blue hat. Okay? Blue hat is the person who is in charge. You remember in meetings, we have a timekeeper, process checker, guy who takes notes, etc., various roles that we have. Blue hat is a guy who keeps people in check. Because halfway through the meeting, somebody says, I miss mommy. I said, no. We are not talking about mommy. We are talking about next picnic. Keeps bringing them back. They do what, Sudhija is that time. Hey, Garu, I gave you 60 minutes. For 59 minutes, you're introducing yourself. Please come back and finish your presentation. Somebody has to do what is called a process check. Then they reminding the people saying, guys, don't drift, just come back to it. Let's finish this topic and get on to that. Because process orchestration, believe me, in meetings can get so distracted. We start with the thought A, that goes to B. Suddenly we're discussing Davangere Benne Masala Dosa, best places to eat in Hyderabad, and you've forgotten about the picnic. So blue hat is the managerial role. Somebody, if in the discussion he says, we have 1 hour time. At the end of 1 hour, we hope to arrive at a consensus on this topic, right? He actually sets the context, periodically keeps bringing people back onto the topic that's in discussion. It's amazing how fascinatingly nice it is to be distracted and talk rubbish in the middle of a meeting. It's nice, you feel good. Blue hat says, no, just shut up and come back. Okay? Clear on what blue hat does? So, in fact, in the training, in fact, I have a hat somewhere. Right behind me, I always used to have those 6 hats displayed at the back as a constant reminder. I actually had the physical hats, 6 hats, I used to have. So when we moved houses, they're stuck somewhere, packed. Okay. Now, meeting call to order. We know how much time we have, what we're going to do. The next topic is anytime you start working on a theme, first, you need to jot down what do we know about this. For example, take that whole picnic conversation, right? Then says, look, it started by saying, look, let's go to Meena ma'am's farm. What are the facts we have? Where is it? How far is it? Do you have to go through a forest where people normally get eaten by tigers, or is it safe? Can you drive there? Is it on a hill that you have to climb? How is the traffic to that area? How long does it take to drive? What do you have on that? If it rains, does you have a shelter? If you get hungry, is there someplace you can cook food? Is there a water? Do you have to carry? So the first thing you do is the context you're discussing, you actually get on all the data. Then you might come back and say, oh my God, I don't know how far that place is. Okay. Then you'll also say, what is the information that we need to collect? We might say, hey, look, we have insufficient information to move forward on this. So often what is also done is when the agenda is announced, people actually come a little prepared with so white hat, white paper is where you put on all the known facts. You're not imagining. White brings the neutrality, right? It's not biases, it's not I think, you think. So what do I know about this problem? What I don't know about this problem? What's significant about all these facts? For example, 4 months back, me, my wife, my sister, so 5 of us jumped into the car and said, we'll go to Alampur temple because it's a 7th century Chalukya temple, amazing. We drove on, 4 hours drive down, we packed our breakfast, coffee, all that. We went there and realized the temple is closed. It actually happened. We're not done our white hat work because we went on a Friday, pandemic was unwinding, right? It was going to open the next Monday, 2 days later. So missed our homework. These things happen, right? We went all the way because we went as a group, we had fun, had lunch in the temple premises and came back, went back to the temple much later. This time we did our homework, okay? That's what happens in the white hat. And then the third hat is a beautiful hat, is a ideation hat. Suppose in this case, we're not decided that we're going to go on the farm. You'll say, guys, give some nice ideas on what we can do. It has to be a 1-day holiday. This when you're ideating, you're creating, you can say, let's go somewhere, we can play games, let's go somewhere, we can climb a tree, let's swim in a lake, okay? Feed the monkeys. That's where you're actually letting Shravan, you're right, it's green lighting, traffic light is on. You're letting your mind run wild and run free. You're coming with ideas. This is where you're at your creative best. He's saying, look, we're trying to see what are the various possibilities to make the decision work. Okay. So what's a unique way of looking at this? Is it just a 1 month vacation? I'm sure you did that because you actually were going to lake, we're going to bigger lake, then you're going to a farm. There must have been a lot of green hatting to arrive at that conversation. What's a more efficient solution than this? Should we have a book, one bus that picks up everyone, or is it not possible? We actually carpool. All that thinking would have gone into this. And what are the possibilities if I try? Okay, you might say, I saw one conversation, let's go boating on the lake. All those things, what are the possibilities there? In green hatting, you actually come and ideate saying, in the context of the decision, what are the possibilities? What are the creative things I can look at? What are all the things that we are trying to maximize the value of the decision? The decision could be go for a picnic. You're trying to see how awesome can that, how top can that decision become? Can it be a top picnic? Those are the kind of conversation you're having in the. With me so far, blue hat, you're organizing. White hat, you're collecting data. Green hat, you're actually ideating, you're coming up. At that stage, nobody says, yeah, such a stupid idea. Nobody does that. You say, hey, boss, let your mind fly. Allow your mind to think of all the creative possible. And then there are 2 or 3 other things happen. You remember, I said that many times organizations don't take good decisions because they're all logical. They're complete left brain. What's the business benefit? How much money you are saying? How much rent we're giving? We're not baking in the feelings of the people. Somebody says, look, instead of a 5-day week, we should make it a 4-day week. Okay, 4-day working week. Instead of working 8 hours a day, we'll work 10 hours a day. But there's a lot of feeling attached to it, right? There could be a mom of a newborn. He says, oh my God, my child is going to be left alone. Or somebody might say, that's too far. I stay in a place. Say there's a lot of feeling attached to it, which is not necessarily the standard logic. Do I save money? Do I spend less money on a transport? Is my productivity going up? So the red hat, what red hat did is, this is the intuition. This is the feelings. This is the thoughts. This is the warm and fuzzy. So you look at, what do I feel about this decision, right? Take that picnic. How do I feel about it? I'm seeing the message on there. Oh my God, I'm so excited. This is what I was waiting for all my life. What took you so long to get this? Those are the feelings, that's what makes us human. Red hat ensures that those feelings, good feelings, bad feelings, they actually come out. It allows us to interact as human beings to say, what does it mean to me? Okay, does it make me feel happy? Does it make me feel very proud, etc.? And then now you have all the ideas, you have all the data. Now somebody has to say, you have to look at the logical positives. Hey, listen, guys, we are doing all this. Is any good going to come out of it at all? We're also excited like little babies. So we actually look at that saying, what is possible? What are we getting out of it? What are the benefits out of this? For example, you might come back and say a picnic like that, right? It breaks the boredom, the fatigue, okay, of being locked at home. We all know each other virtually just by meeting together, having a cup of tea together, singing a horrible song together. It's actually going to bond us so much more. We actually say there are a lot of benefits that can come out of it. Don't just take it as running away from parents for a day, or stupid parents, helicopter parents. I go away from them for a day. Maybe even that's a benefit as well. So what Yellow Hat does is, we call it the logical positives. You should be able to logically explain the good feeling. You remember, in the Red Hat, there are also feelings, but here if you say, hey, this is going to build a bonding, you should be able to explain, what you say ontologically. You say, look, because people are coming together, they're coming out of the pandemic restriction, they need to meet each other. When people meet each other, chemistries form, bonds form, happiness forms. You should be able to. So these are not random things. You can't say, hey, good for the world. 50 people will scare the virus. Not that actually. So this is called the logical part. And then you always need the devil's advocate. You're saying, guys, you're getting so excited about it. You're going to the Gundlapochama tank. I just checked the weather. That area is expected to, there's a 95% probability of a thunderstorm that day. So someone has to look at what can go wrong. But these are not a random fear. These are called a logical negative. When I say, I've seen the weather forecast, it's going to rain like hell. You're raising a concern or a risk, but with logical that can be explained. It's not a saying, hey, what if a ghost comes and takes me away from the lake? That's not okay. That's not allowed here. So what is the fatal flaw in this idea? What can go wrong in this idea? If we have, let's say, somebody's car develops a flat tire, is it such a random place that you can get them? For example, recently, in 15 of us went in 5 cars on a 2-day weekend drive. Somebody said, what if somebody has a breakdown? We actually created a WhatsApp group of one person from each car. It's called the navigation group. So every once in a while, if we did not have a line of sight of all the 5 cars, we connect and say, guys, is all well, etc. We actually found that at one stage, when buffalo ran into a car, exactly they were the last car they stopped. So somebody has to look at what can go wrong, and we need to bake in. Planning is all about anticipating what can go wrong and being prepared for it, right? And finally, we come back to the blue hat, right? We all discussed. Finally, you have to come back and somebody has to summarize, right? We had a good time. We talked about it. We got emotional. We got creative. All that. But what has come out of it? So a combination of these 6 hats we actually take based on a scenario. We'll actually do one exercise also here to say sometimes it's just ideation. You're not looking for a decision. Sometime you want to take a people-oriented decision. There's a lot of feeling involved. So based on the situation here and problem you're trying to solve or decision you're trying to make, we use a combination of various hats there. Okay, so we'll actually do a little bit of a exercise here together to make that more tangible. So that's the 6 thinking hats. What we're basically saying is we're all thinking all the things. We are thinking ideas, we're thinking good things, bad things, how I feel about it. We're thinking about the data. But in the room, just imagine if there are 10 people, each of them talking different things, right? They're all good ideas, but somebody is thinking about the excitement, somebody is thinking about what can go wrong. The meeting does not progress well. In parallel thing, all you're trying to do is at a given point of time, we orchestrate, you have the whole group wearing one hat. You're on a data collection, you're on ideation, or you're looking at what's good, how people feel, or what can go wrong, or taking a decision. Okay, that's what sets the 6 thinking hats methodology apart. Believe me, just by reducing all the noise in the room, it's actually possible to take a lot of decisions in 20 minutes flat. It could be 15, it could be 30. We iterate till around 20 minutes is a doable thing. Okay. So just a visual summary. Blue hat is process control, focus, what's the big picture, agenda, summary, time management. Green hat is creative thinking, what is the alternative solution, refine and develop an idea. Black hat looks at risks, potential problems, obstacles, what are the downside. You can do all this, but it could be environmentally wrong, those kind of things. What are the weaknesses of the thought? Yellow hat looks at what is the best scenario, what are the benefits, what are the positive thinking, what is the optimism, what is the evidence. This is a logical positive. We should be able to explain the benefit you're talking about. White hat is about information, figures, facts, numbers, all the data. And red hat is about fears, impact on others, feelings, intuition, all those, etc. Impact on others is in the apartment complex I'm in. So 20 of us can decide to just go into the lawns and have a biryani party, but it's going to freak out others. They say during pandemic, why are you guys 20 guys coming together without a pan? So we need to think. That's where red hat comes in. So I'll just take 2 examples, then we'll actually do an exercise. A nice cartoon of this is actually a school meeting where they wanted to take a decision saying there'll be no homework. Okay, children will not have homework. So top left, if you see that lady has a blue hat. He says, look, hey, you remind me of the subject, because somebody I think is going off onto some other topic. Or he said, look, I remember, base your comments on the thinking hat you're wearing. They're constantly process checking. If you're on a green hat, don't talk about what can go wrong, right? Green hat is about facts. They're constantly saying, hey, look, this is the hat we are on. We're collecting data now. Next 5 minutes, don't think of anything else. Or next 10 minutes, we are on a green hat. we're actually coming up with ideas. Don't shoot down any ideas. Let everyone speak. Okay. Then look at the middle top row, right? This is a white hat. This guy actually saying after school activities, there are transportation issues. Okay. So we need to talk about them. Family things, leaving homework at school. Look, these are all issues that actually happen. Not everyone does their homework every night. And there are a lot of reasons why. Maybe there are issues at home. Maybe they have to go home and work, etc. So white hat, they're actually presenting the facts. Then you see that somebody with a green hat says, yeah, I know it sounds crazy. What about getting rid of homework altogether? You're actually ideating, giving suggestions, saying, is there a way we can teach? Or we go to the bottom left, right, is a yellow hat. He's saying yellow hat is logical positives, right? The benefits. Yeah, we'd have more time at home to play, be with family, and sleep. So we'd be ready for and fresh for the school next morning. And Miss Patel would not have to spend all her time doing her homework. These are all, they're saying, look, what are the positives of shutting down homework, etc. You're getting a sense, what each person contributes based on the hat he or she is wearing. Then I'll take one live example that we had to go through. Then we'll do an exercise. We lived in Bangalore for 28 years. We left Hyderabad because 18 months after my MBA, I started a company that blew up 18 months later. Okay, my savings were all gone. I literally had no money, just got married. My wife came over. Paying rent was an issue. We could buy 1-2 days provisions at a time. So we said, look, then applied for jobs. I moved to Bangalore to take up my jobs. That's where my career really took off. 28 years there. Our children born there. Our entire social ecosystem is there. One fine day we said, hey, look, maybe it's time to go back to where the family is. Okay. One evening I was a little unwell. We went to the hospital. There was a big stone stuck in my ureter. They had to perform a surgery. Suddenly we said, hey, listen, yeah, we just came for a casual check, got admitted, went through a surgery. Then we really missed not having the family around. We thought about it. It was a huge decision. 28 years, my career was built in Bangalore. My children were born in Bangalore. They grew up, they don't know Hyderabad. So it's a big life decision. So we said, yeah, let's review. Let's take a decision on leaving Bangalore and coming to Hyderabad. First thing we did, what are the facts? Facts is family is all in Hyderabad. We have friends here, but good days or bad days, nothing like having a family around. They're all here. Now we miss all the family functions because they're all so far away coming from Bangalore. People even stopped inviting us for weddings. Okay. We actually collected all the facts. We said, look, do we have a much better social ecosystem in Bangalore? Then we looked at the motion and say, hey, look, this is where all our friends are. This is where our children have all their friends. We're going to leave so much of a relationship behind. 28 years in one place, right? You build a lot of roots out there. We looked at that. Then we said, look, I hope we're not making a mistake because Bangalore and Hyderabad are so culturally different. You think we'll get used to a different way of life in Hyderabad? Traffic is different, culture is different, people think, talk, act differently, etc. Then we looked at the benefits, saying, here is there is a reason we are wanting to do. So I'm retiring in 2 years' time. That's the time I want to be close to family. Well, children, we grew up together, we went our way. All children have gone off on their own way. This is the time we should all come together. In fact, this weekend, we just had a get-together of me and my 4 siblings. It's such amazing. That wouldn't have been possible if we had not come back, right? Then we looked at it saying, so how do you want to go about this? Okay, we have a house there. We don't have a house here. Then we started collecting facts. Okay, now that we're inclined to go to Hyderabad, where do you want to be? What are the good places in Hyderabad to be in? Good places, good food, good theaters, good malls, good traffic, good environment, good community. Maybe the IT hub, Gachibowli, there'll be like-minded people. We collected all the data. Again, we went through, look, what does this mean to us? We said, look, if we go to, let's say, settle in Gachibowli in Hyderabad, does it solve all problems? We said, look, what are the mistakes we may be doing? Then we ideated. Then in 2014, we traveled to Hyderabad 15 times to decide where we're going to be. So we picked a location in Hyderabad. Then we picked a builder in Hyderabad. We booked, we sold our house in Bangalore, came here, rented a house, built a house here, moved. Believe me, it was not an easy decision. So we actually went through these steps, saying, look, otherwise it can get very stressed out because an emotion, the bonding to the city can cloud your thinking. Here, what happens is when you're on a green, you're not looking at what can go wrong. You're only thinking ideas. When you're looking at the benefits, you're not looking at what can go wrong. In the process, your mind is much more clear, and you actually took a decision. 5 years in Hyderabad, we don't miss Bangalore. Okay, it all worked out well. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do one exercise here. So for that, what I want you to do is think of a. My technology is again hot. Yeah. Can you think of a scenario or a problem? Any of you? Then I think we'll just do a short 5-minute six thinking hat. Addition.
We just started in. First of all, this was great. The whole thing was fantastic. One of the things we just started experiencing, students have come back to the hostel and suddenly they realized their network is not as good as it was in their homes. So we just started talking, how do we make the network better? So do you think we can talk about how to create, a network?
You're solving a problem, right?
Yes.
Here you're solving a problem or taking a decision. Okay. There you're saying make network. Can you see the writing?
Yes.
Did I give you the tip? If you have a terrible handwriting like mine, always use capital letters. But what happens if you have to write a capital letter in capital letters? Use a bigger letter. Okay. Okay. Now, what do you think? What is the first hat we should?
I think blue hat maybe.
Exactly. Full marks, Shravan. Blue hat, because somebody has to orchestrate this conversation. Otherwise, it can go all over. You'll say, how much time do we have? What do we want to decide? Who are all coming for the meeting? Where are we meeting? Is it over a coffee? Is it over a beer? Or, we just sit in the open. Somebody has to. Okay. Now, you got the blue hat. We have the agenda set, date, time, attendance set. What happens after that? What is the next hat?
Next hat, neutral.
Neutral is what hat?
White hat.
White hat. Why is it white hat, Shravan? Answer is
because
right.
we want to gather the facts. What do you mean by network is not good?
Yeah. What do you mean by network? Maybe my Wi-Fi router was down that day.
Right.
As I'm telling the whole world saying, boss, the network is terrible. So you're actually establishing the facts. We're saying, what are the facts? Why do you say the network is down? Is it because A and Rob using a bad school application that requires high bandwidth? Or you're actually getting all the facts because you want to be sure that you really know what we are talking about, right? So you're exactly a fact collection. It's great going. Okay, fact collect. What happens after that? Now you got the facts, what you're after, what hat are you going to wear next? And what happened, Shravan, in this, right? In the meeting, the blue hat says, guys, everyone put on your green hat. In the training, we actually physically wear them that color hat.
Nice.
Because, the physical act helps in the habit formation. You looked around and say, you actually need to rag each other. Hey, you're wearing a green hat, but you're behaving black. Then I say, that's a green hat. Are you colorblind? The green or red. So that chiding, that active conversation helps people come back into that track. Okay, what happened? What hat would go next?
Red.
Shravan, someone else answer. One answer per head.
Red hat.
Red hat. Why red hat?
You said that was the emotional one.
That's right. For example, in this case, what happened? What are we going to say? You're wearing a red hat. So what do you want in your red hat? What do you want to say?
So how does it affect their life, like not having a network?
Exactly. If they're so frustrated, they can't learn, they don't have access, network is paid, it keeps spinning round and round. So that's the right hat. I think that's the right choice. I'll also come and talk about an alternate choice. In reality, what happens is, let's say 5 people are sitting and discussing. The blue hat says, go round robin. Everyone speaks. Okay? Because there is a very interesting, group dynamic involved in discussion. There are some people who always want to be the first to speak. He said, my opinion should be heard first because they're afraid I have only one idea. If Shravan speaks that idea, I lost my idea. No, it actually
Okay.
happened.
Yeah,
So
it does. It does.
it does happen. But then there are some. So what we do is everyone participating in mandatory. You actually say, hey, Red Hat, Mina, your turn now. Shravan, once we go clockwise, once we go anti-clockwise. Because what happens is next time Shravan knows, yeah, it's my first turn, I'll be ready with my idea. They say, no, buddy. Last time you had an opportunity to speak your idea first. Now it's going to be me not speaking your idea first. Okay? Or I might say as a blue hat, I say, guys, this round I'm going to randomly call people. What you're doing is making sure everyone gets an opportunity. Because some get a lot of ideas, some get one or two ideas. If the one or two ideas people write, if they're always the last, then they don't feel good. They're saying, oh my God, by the time it's my turn, ideas have been spoken. So idea is a co-creation through inclusive, making sure everyone feels good about it. That's what makes the implementation easy, right? So, Mina, great. Red Hat, we come back and say, hey, look, how do I feel about this? I'm so glad we are even discussing this problem, right? It's all set. Now what happens? After Red?
Someone else, please.
Someone else, please. What hat? White is data, red is feelings, green is ideas, yellow is logical positive, black is logical negatives, blue is a orchestrator. Logically, at this stage, right? So when you
Nivedita, go ahead.
I'm sorry?
I'm asking Nivedita to say which hat.
Yeah. Nivedita, is that you? The top is you, right? Okay. Yeah, sure.
Oh, she has a mic problem. Okay. Deepti,
You
say something?
say this is R. You can even sign this.
You can also just put it in the message.
Yeah, you can put in a message.
And
Nivedita.
can somebody read that for me, please?
Yes, I will read it.
Shravan, it's all working stable. I don't want to mess with my setup.
Yeah. So, Deepti, do you want to say which hat after that?
Discussing ideas, sir.
Awesome. Beautiful. Full marks. What color is that hat?
Blue. Sorry. Green.
Green. Bingo. Either you are a great student or I am a good teacher. I would like to think you are a great student. Okay.
What will happen if both are great?
See, Mina. Mina, what hat is that, Mina? What you just said? What hat?
Both are great, fellow. That is, I think it is yellow.
It's a red hat because you can't logically prove it. But
sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because Mina, in yellow hat, you have to prove what you said. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Right. So green hat it is, because now that you feel good about it, you started, you need ideas, right? What are we going to do? How are you going to? Then you come up with and say, guys, let's brainstorm. 1, 2, 3, 4. In great brainstorming, there's a green lighting phase. You can say anything you want so long as it is respectful, so long as it is on the top. You don't look at the intellectual weight of it. You don't look at the stupidity index. You don't say, yeah, what did you have for breakfast? None of it actually. Okay. So safety comes in a group out of knowing that I said something and realized it's stupid and nobody laughed at me. They say, hey, look, that's a good idea. Okay. So you're also making safe green ideas, bang on. Thank you so much. Now we have a whole lot of ideas. Idea, lots of ideas. Okay. But here again, everyone gets a chance to give an idea. I don't repeat an idea. You don't enhance an idea. I have the same idea, but I have a better way of expressing it. No. The idea has been expressed already, right? Now what happens after that? After green hat, what do? We have a lot of ideas.
Nivedita, do you want to post in the chat what hat? Okay. Hey, Divya Murla, do you want to say the chat next?
I'll give a clue. There are 2 ways you can do this. Okay. And don't you worry about the answer. I said there's nothing like a wrong answer.
Yeah, exactly.
There are only answers.
So yellow hat?
Yellow hat. Bingo. And why do you think it's yellow hat?
Because after brainstorming all the ideas, we can go with the logical one to remove few. Which doesn't make sense.
Yeah. You actually address both the branches of the decision. What happens is, let's just 3 or 4 ideas. You look at logical positives. Somebody says, Shravan says, let's go to that particular zip code because the network there is solid. There are a lot of facilities available. You might look at logical positive. But let's say we were in a bout of creative. We gave it 37 ideas. We can't work at the 37 ideas. So then Sometimes you also use a red hat to prioritize. You say, look, out of the 37 ideas, you might do that too. You might sort. There are many ways to actually do that. There are structured methods available to say, how do you want to prioritize? Because we can't work on 37 ideas. Then the blue hat might say, guys, what if I propose that we go with a sort and arrive at the top 5 ideas? Is everyone agreeable? Yes, 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 yes. On these things, everyone gets 1 note. You might use a red hat, then you come down to a small number of ideas. So then you get on to your yellow hat. Yellow hat saying, what is the logical positive? Do the ideas benefit? Do they give us a solution that you want? Okay, bingo, we are doing great. What happens after the yellow hat? There'll be somebody like me who will open his mouth to say,
Black hat.
Black hat, exactly. See, what happens is sometimes we get so carried away by ideas. Okay, they say, "Panchi ho tu to udu aati re." You heard that, right? Let's all go to the tallest peak and jump, fly like birds. Excited. I'll wear, pigeon wings. I'll bring peacock wings. All that. Somebody says, "Boss, you can't fly." Do you realize that you can actually break your legs if you fall? So somebody has to ask that question. Okay. See, there is another beautiful thing out here. Maybe I have given an idea, but in my black hat turn, even I have to say what can go wrong. Normal meeting, what happens is, because I've given an idea, even if I realize it's such a dumb thing to do, I'll not talk about it. In this, we actually encourage to say, don't be married to your idea. Okay? So, because everyone gets a chance in that, right? You might come back and say, look, I think, that idea may not work. Jumping from a hill may not be such a great idea, right? I don't think it is safe. So we actually do a black hat to arrive at logically wrong. And then at that stage, you have a set of ideas, you have a set of feelings, you have a set of the benefit, you have a set of what can go wrong. Some logical prioritization, elimination starts arising. You said it's a fantastic idea if it works, but the probability of that happening is about 10%. Okay? It requires that 1,000 people meet without masks in, parade grounds, but that's not possible. You might drop that idea. So in the process, it also helps you. At that stage, you might either bring back a red hat, not just to say, look, we have 3 good ideas, let's take one. Or you might bring back, what is the other hat you might bring back? To summarize, close, take next steps?
Blue.
Blue hat, the managerial hat. Okay? You might say, look, we have all these ideas. Believe me, take any idea of thought of your choice. And then you'll quickly know, let's say if you want to take a decision in 30 minutes, a blue hat might actually say, hey, we'll use 2 minutes for white hat for collecting the data. This is a very people-centric thing. I want to give 4 minutes for emotion because I want people to express. Okay, you will actually break up that time, but you say, look, I don't have a time constraint. I want to have a 15 minutes on white hat. You can actually decide how you want to apportion the time. There is no set rule for how the time should be divided. If in doubt, you might actually start with the equal amount of time, but you'll quickly figure out that, some things require more time than the other things. Are you with me? Any questions at this point of time? Otherwise, I'll get on to.
No, it's good. It's good.
Okay. See, we actually created a workflow for a hypothetical situation now. Was that easy? Was that hard? You're able to relate to it? See,
yes. It was very good. It was very good.
Now, what are the benefits? You remember, we had 3 other options. We can argue, we can debate, we can have a meeting. Now you're saying, no, they're all bad ideas. This is a good idea. But it's a good idea. Then I have to tell you why it's a good idea, right? It's established. It's established that there's a more buy-in, co-creation. See, while we don't use that word often, what we are doing in ECEL is a co-creation. We're coming together, pooling our ideas, and that's what makes it so powerful. It's like, everyone put a brick in building the pyramid, right? End of it, when it's up, you say, hey, look, I put a brick in that. Have a contribution. The co-creation is a very, very powerful idea. When it's co-created, it's also be co-implemented. You'll also take a joint ownership in implementation. Everyone participates. We don't lose ideas. Every time you contribute an idea, you feel good. It builds self-esteem. You feel positive. So next time you're in a meeting, you say, oh my God, last time I contributed, let me do that again. Okay? When people are silent, they're shy. They're not dumb. Help them overcome their shyness. Maybe they have the best idea, right? we are actually making sure everyone participates in that. We don't lose ideas. Emotions and doubts are allowed. Most corporations in Industrial Revolution 2.0 onward, logical manufacturing came in, efficiency became the mantra. When your left brain takes over, yes, honestly, I don't care what you think, so long as you follow me. Instruction was the modern hierarchical organization thing. We can talk about some other thing, hierarchical organization versus what we call a bazaar organization. What we have in ECL is a beautiful model. It's a 21st century organizational operating system. Small little parts coming together, not losing effectiveness, and we perform, right? Then higher quality of decisions, because the process itself will ensure you have taken the data, you looked at what can go wrong, you looked at emotional side of it, will it benefit people, will it make people feel bad, good, etc. And no one is hijacking the meeting. Normally in a decision, the loud guy carries his decision through. Somebody like Donald Trump, right? When Donald Trump starts talking, everyone's intimidated and shuts up. Here, there's no loud guy here. And then faster decisions, because you're going in a certain sequence. You're not backtracking. You're not going around in a recursive do loops. Okay, programmers know the recursive do loop. You're not stuck in it. It's like you're not an ant on a Mobius loop, right? It goes around. And then sense of inclusive environment. People need to feel good about the group they are in, their environment they are in. Their thoughts are respected, their presence is valued. That's enormous. And then there are also checks and balance, right? You don't get carried away. I'm a black hat. Now let's see what all is wrong with this. The check and balance is necessary. Otherwise, we can get very romantically carried about a dumb idea and jump off the hill and break all our legs. Okay? We also have the checks and balance. I'll actually share this. There are some standard scenarios available. When you, for example, solving a problem, second from the bottom, you start with the blue hat problem, right? You have to explain the problem. There's a white hat, you green hat to say what are the possible solutions. And what do you use a red hat there? In a solving problems, you can use it for two reasons. What are the two possible reasons of using a red hat in problem solving? Yeah, just say whatever occurs to you.
Isn't it like, just letting your feelings, basically you're, coming out from an illogical perspective or a different perspective?
Exactly. So you might say it's not even a problem. In this complex, we had a massive battle between the pet owners and non-pet owners. Okay? Pet owners say, my pet is like my son, it can go anywhere. Non-pet owners and say, sons don't bite, your pet bites, it has to be in a fixed place. Such an emotional thing, right? So you need to let the emotions in. The second is, if you have a lot of suggestions coming in the green hatting, you also need to prioritize them. Red hat solves both, because solving problems, right? There's a lot of ideation. There is also prioritization needed. Then yellow is logical positives, black is logical negatives. Green is, again, you might come back and say, look, now that we have the shortlisted ideas, I might want to build on them, and blue hat actually sums up, okay? Or if you want a quick feedback, after this session, I say I want a feedback, you might get together and say, let's use 6 thinking hats to give you an feedback. Blue hat, somebody says, guys, join at 7:15 for a 15-minute Zoom call. Black hat, you say, what all has gone wrong? Okay? Green hat, you say, look, hey, what are all the ideation, what are the innovative things that come in? Blue hat, you just summarize. Okay? So you can use the hats in a different way. Please choose your flow. What is important is understand the role of each hat, and then, you might use 2 or 3 iterations, 1 iteration. It's your comfort. The beauty about this is you figure out the way you want to fly the kite. Okay, what are we going to do with this? Finally, right? End of it. Any session is, am I taking back at least one usable idea for my life? Otherwise, it's might as well switch to Devonka Dev Har Har Mahadev and listen to 5 episodes. Okay, even there you have a actionable, right? So use it for all your planning and decision making. Believe me, I'll tell you. I'll talk about I can share in the safety of this, right? I worked with Wipro twice. The second time when it was a career disaster decision. I was very senior. I was vice president of global delivery, responsible for all the 20,000 people in that. Then I quickly realized that Wipro culture has changed. I made a disaster decision. I didn't even listen to my wife. Said, look, you go there, you'll be unhappy. In 9 months, at a vice president level, I decided to leave the organization. I looked for it. And the decision to leave Wipro, where I had a previous session was 7 years. Beautiful. Learned so much. Best years, my best mentors, best bosses. So actually I had to use a simple process to separate emotion. The load of emotion was so high, I had to take a logical decision. Or leaving Bangalore and coming here. We came here, built a beautiful home. So 4 years after that, we decided to sell it and we moved into this. So 3 big decisions in life, right? This thing helps me. So please use it your way, personally, in groups. Then keep it simple. Okay, don't complicate it. Be disciplined about it. Follow that. Allow the blue hat to guide you, and use round robin method. Make sure everyone in the group speaks. And then with that, I'll actually wrap it up with a.
I have one question. In practically implementing this, what were some of the challenges you faced?
Got it. The discipline. What happens is the blue hat role is not easy. Because particularly if you have a very high power team, giving the blue hat that role gravitas is very important. You have to listen to the blue hat. So what we did was, for example, we had exactly that issue. Every week, every Tuesday afternoon, 3 o'clock used to be my leadership team meeting, me and my first line. There, we used to publish what is called the blue hat. See, I'm the head of the team. In meetings, typically, I chair the meetings, right? We changed that. We said the weekly meetings used to be chaired by one person every week. Okay, while it's my leadership team, somebody else is doing that. In fact, they used to publish the agenda. They used to conduct the meeting. In the process, what we said was, while you all report to me, we're all equal when you come into this meeting. We actually take turns. In the process, we created a culture of saying, look, everyone here is equal. When they say, guys, time out, it's time out. So that discipline needs to be acquired. The blue hat role is very, very critical. Thank you. That's a great question. Did I answer you?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'll ask you a question. There is a certain way I frame my question here. I said, what question can I answer for you? That might look like a very roundabout thing. Right? Do you have any? Normally we say, do you have any questions? Why did I frame the question this way? What questions can I answer for you? Why did I frame it this way? Any guesses? Okay. See, in trainers, right? When I was head of our Cognizant Academy, we taught trainers to ask questions. If I say, do you have any questions? What are the answers? What are the possible answers you have? Yes or no? So always closed-ended questions are not a good way to elicit response. So we should train them in raising an open-ended question. When I say, what questions can I answer for you? The action is shifted to me, right? I'm saying, guys, ask questions. If I say, do you have any questions? I say, no, I don't have a question. The conversation ends there. So,
okay.
So raising an open-ended question is a good way to cause involvement, make people, because we have give an easy way out, always take the easy way. Do you have a question? No, I don't have a question. Okay, let's have coffee and go away.
It's very good.
Yeah, that's the reason it's always what questions can I answer for you?
This was really good, Aim. Let's see whether
can I stop sharing?
Can you share?
Yes, yes.
Just give me a second. I just learned how to stop sharing. Please, just give me a little. 1 second. Hang on. Wait a minute. Okay, stop sharing. Stop presenting. Oh, good to see you all now. Okay, I exited my second screen. Awesome.
Go ahead.
Is that audible, sir?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Now it is audible.
I wish I was more creative.
Did somebody say creative?
Yes, I did.
Hit the track, kid. When you wear yellow, you think happy, not sad. Yellow, you think good, don't think bad, don't get mad. Try a little bit of optimism. Please avoid all that pessimism. Wearing black, listen to the feedback, get back on track. You call it negativity, I call it productivity. Use your head, don't be led, cause there's danger up ahead. Or instead, you'll be filled with regret. When you wear red, it's all about the feelings. You hear that heart, yeah, it's beating. You feel that intuition, yeah, you are on a mission. Emotion is your ammunition. Just listen. When you wear white, think about the information. Separate the fact from fiction, no contradiction. When you wear green, be creative, be alternative, innovative. And if you're wearing blue, you've got to organize, you've got to supervise. You need to realize red, black, green, yellow, white, blue. It's up to you what to choose. Hats off to Bo New.
That was really nice. That was very good.
Okay, that is 6 thinking hats in 1 hour 49 seconds. 1 minute 49 seconds. Okay. Yeah. So, see, the thing is, we all need life hacks, simple tools that make us more productive, that make us better parts of our team. It's important to be better part of a team because one gear in a gear train can stop the car, right? So we contribute either by leading or by following or by just being a part of a team. You know, the 6 thinking hats allows us to be effective in a personally, professionally, as a husband, as a son. In fact, when my second son wanted to finish his mechanical engineering, wanted to become a chef, we actually used 6 thinking hats to support his decision. Okay, because otherwise we can get very emotional about it. So do try and use it. Always available for any help if you want me to navigate you through that. So that brings us to the end of the session. Are there any questions I can answer for you?
Thank you, Ian. This was really, really good. I loved it.
Thank you so much, Shravan.
Superb. I enjoyed every bit.
Thank you so much, Meena.
Yeah. I mean, these were some of the things we do without thinking much about it and randomly, but you put it all so well organized, and now actually I'm feeling very comfortable. I said, oh, I'm doing many of these things.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Awesome. See, we take decisions all the time, right?
Yeah,
so
we do.
Exactly.
But it's not organized, you know, but we do touch upon each of these points.
Exactly. It just sharpens the process a little bit. It's not a,
Yes. No, now when we do it, it will be very, methodical. We'll definitely think in terms of these 6 hats.
Right. For me, doing the black hat thing is the hard part, but now I see the black hat part, how it can be done in a proper way. So this is really good. This is one of the areas where I have been struggling. So now, thank you, Ian, for this.
Shravan, when people know you're wearing a black hat, they're not questioning your intent. You have a legitimate right to say what can go wrong. You're not being that. You're not being that guy who always shoots things down, right? You say, Shravan wears a black hat. Listen to him, right?
Yes, exactly.
Shravan, you should go get a black hat for yourself. Actually start wearing it. Like he said, you live the role. And then it goes, yes.
That's what I was telling. We just started a wireless team group where we are going to discuss about how to bring the wireless. So in that I put, everyone should wear a hat every session. Exactly. Or, so that way we are all like, everyone is not a blue hat all the time. Everyone is not a black hat all the time. So this is really good. This is,
Shravan, actually, we got all the 6 hats for all my leadership team members. In the habit forming stage, we used to physically change the hats.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but we have to do everything, what do you call, in a virtual way.
Virtual way.
Yeah, so that is, so we have to move this 6 learning hats into a virtual scenario also. So we'll come up with ideas. Our teams are very good about it. So we'll figure out how to physically or virtually wear all these hats. And definitely we'll use it.
Do you see the green hat at work? Do you see the yellow hat at work?
You're already wearing a green hat.
Amazing. Amazing. That's
So,
good.
hey, Sindhuja, do you want to end the call?
Yes, Shailaja Devi ma'am has a question, sir, in the chat box.
Okay.
How can it be actually implemented in hierarchy mindset, formal organization, culture, dictatorship type setup, please?
Beautiful. Shailaja, thank you so much. So we took the team through not one training. We actually took them through 3 different trainings. There is a training called Crucial Conversations. Beautiful. They say when the stakes are high, emotions run deep, conversation has turned crucial. See, for example, it happens in relationships also, right? You get angry, you say things that you don't mean. You bring out your worst when what you need is your best. So there is actually a method for people to deal with those stressful situations. We did that. Then we took them through the 6 thinking hats. We actually did a MBTI, Myers-Briggs type indicator analysis. MBTI looks at every person. You are one of a possible 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 is how much? 16 types. We actually got them together. For example, I am very logical. You like
8.
8 types. We actually got people together and say, listen, this is what we belong to. For example, if I go to a supermarket, I need to systematically go to every rack and see if I need something. My wife is here, then it disappears, pick something there. That used to irritate me. Then I realized we take decisions very differently. We actually did that. And when we brought them face to face with what they are, then we did a strength assessment exercise. You say, look, AN is strong with communication, somebody is strong with
I got
relationship.
an idea for you on how to buy real estate.
So
Yeah,
by
just
taking
now.
them through that,
AN.
we were able to bring them to work beyond hierarchy. And you remember I said my weekly team meetings, I was not chairing all the meetings. We chaired them by rotation. There is a different boss every week. So in the process, it takes a lot of effort to dismantle the hierarchical mindset, particularly from Indian minds. We grew up in a hierarchical thinking way. Father is a big boss. You don't argue with him, right? So from that, you have to dismantle that. There is a process for doing that. Sharja, have I answered?
Yes, sir, we got it. It takes time. Okay. So whatever the things you have shared in today's call, it was really helpful for us. It was just amazing. By applying these simple things in our life, it will be having a great impact. Just we may need consistency to use them. Yeah. And now I would like to propose a vote of thanks. It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this session on behalf of Top Eason. I must mention a deep sense of appreciation to our top speaker, N. Rao Garu. And thank you, Stransa, for giving us this opportunity. And thank you all my dear mentors, seniors, and friends for making this more interactive. Now, I would like Sandhya to say a gratitude quote to everyone.
Thank you, Sindhu Akka. Hello, everyone. And the quote is gratitude is a powerful process for shifting your energy and bringing more of what you want into your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandhya. Yeah,
Thank you all. Good night, good day. You have a
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.